And on the 8th day, God looked down on his planned paradise and said, I need a caretaker. So God made a farmer.
Howdy folks, I'm Darren. Welcome to 8th Day Chronicles here at Cross Timbers Farm. Glad to have you with us today. Last day of 2024. And we are having a warm day today. We have had some warm weather push in, and I don't know if the microphone will pick all this up, but it's getting really, really windy. The weather is, from all the forecasts I've saw, we are getting ready to go into a really, really cold snap of weather. This wind is pushing in a front. They're saying some snow tonight. Not a lot, but they're saying some flurries and maybe an inch or two of snow tonight. But in about 5 to 7 days, and you got to be careful watching some of these internet meteorologists, but the one that I do trust, he says it's a little too far out yet to know for sure, but one thing he does know for sure, we're getting ready to go into an Arctic blast. He is saying low 20s to teens for highs and single digits to 0 for lows at night in about 7 or 8 days. Now, a lot of the meteorologists, your YouTube warriors on there or TikTok or whatever, are saying blizzard. They're all screaming blizzard. And I believe a lot of them saying that just to get clicks. The meteorologist that I trust the most says that possibility of some pretty heavy snow is maybe possible, but it's too far out yet to judge for sure. This cold weather coming up, I couldn't write down a better time to frost seed. If your hay fields are in need of seeding and you are considering frost seeding and you live in the East Coast, the Southeast up through, and you've been considering frost seeding, get your equipment ready. If this cold weather comes like they're saying it's going to, and then after this cold weather passes and it warms up some, boy, get your frost seeding stuff ready. From all indications, it appears that next week, like somewhere around January 8th, 9th, 10th, somewhere in that area, is going to be prime for frost seeding, at least in my area. If it's on your radar to frost seed this year, get ready. We are not going to frost seed this year. We are right here in our west field, and you can see I've got a little garden shovel with me, my wife's little garden shovel. Don't tell her I have it. Today we're out checking our hay fields. It's midwinter, and we're going to check the health of these fields. We are in our west field, which used to be called the reclaim field, but now it's the west field, and I got to tell you, just from a visual observation, this field is wintering fantastic. We're going to check some soil in a few places. We're going to check for life in our dirt. We're going to see how things are looking. We've got a lot of new grass in this field, young grass from our frost seeding last year and the year before, but especially last year. We really frost seeded this field heavily last winter with Orchard and Timothy mix, and it done really, really well. I was very pleased. Boy, can you hear that wind? Wow, can you see those trees blowing? Boy, we're starting to get some really heavy wind blowing in this front. Hope it don't blow my camera over. Where was I? The frost seeding we done last winter done really, really well. Through the summer, mowing hay back here, we saw a lot of tender new grass, Timothy and orchard, coming up back here. We have a lot of Kentucky bluegrass in this field. We already had some orchard and tall fescue, but we overseeded or frost seeded last winter with more orchard and Timothy. And it done well. It done really well. The second cutting we done on this field was full of Timothy. More Timothy than about anywhere, because we put more pounds per acre here. It done really well. And we left this field long compared to our other hay fields. We only took 2 cuts off this field last year because of the new grass. We didn't want to stress this new grass going into winter. We wanted it to be left a little bit long. So this went into winter a little bit longer. And boy, it's looking good. It's looking really good. The reclaiming work we done on this field is paying dividends. The only thing I don't like about this field, we got a pretty heavy tree edge that ends up getting some leaves in the field that we have to blow out every year. And you can probably see it's steep in places. We have to cut, ted, rake, and bale this field really slow. And that's okay. And I think this coming year, we will eventually get premium hay off this field. Last year, the second cutting we got off this field was climbing right up there. It was better than mediocre hay. It was approaching quality, but not there yet. There were still some weeds, and we've done a lot of work. There's been a lot of fuel burnt in this field, clipping, keeping it mowed, keeping anything from going to seed head, spraying, different things to get our weeds under control, and it's working. It's working really well. I think this coming year, we may be able to get premium hay off this field. That's yet to be seen, but it's possible. Here at Cross Timbers Farm, our hay 2024 hay season was challenging, to say the least. We set records. We experienced some of the wildest weather we've ever experienced. We started out our hay season with our first cut scheduled for first or second week of May. We ended up not being able to cut, and pardon me for keeping turning. I'm trying to keep this microphone out of the wind. We ended up not being able to make our first cut of hay until the first week of June because of rain. It rained all spring. Then, after our first cut was done, we went into a drought. It got super hot through June and July, just right at 3-digit temperatures, bouncing 99 to 100 degrees almost every day, no rain, and our hay growth really slowed down. But then, late July and August, the rain came again. We were able to complete a good second cut. Then everyone knows late September, Hurricane Helene came to our area, and it was devastating. I mean, just devastating. There's no other words to describe that storm. It was massively devastating to our area, and prayers are still going out to those that lost loved ones, lost their home, lost everything they owned. If they lived near bodies of water, it was horrific. And even if you didn't live near the water, it was still bad. If your home was anywhere near trees or anything, it was bad. Just from the rainfall, flooding in areas away from water. When you get 30 inches of rain, it's going somewhere. Usually somewhere you don't want it to. But our hay season ended up very good. Our numbers improved even through all that adversity. Our hay numbers went up. Our number of cuts went up. We donated the very last cut in hay we did. I would do that again sevenfold. That was worth every cent we spent on fuel and our resources here to help some other farmers. So, how was your 2024 hay season? Drop some comments and let me know. I'd love to hear it. 2024 end of year hay market. How's the hay market in your area? I've done quite a bit of research the last day or two on the end of year 2024 hay market. And it still don't look good, especially in my area where Hurricane Helene just ravaged this area. It really disrupted the hay market here. And if you go on Facebook Marketplace now, or the NCDA, the North Carolina Department of Agriculture website, and look at hay prices, you hardly see none in this area. All those prices of hay for sale that they have listed on the NCDA website is Piedmont and coastal North Carolina and South Carolina. Not many in the mountainous areas, hardly none, because it just devastated the farms here. I've got a cheat sheet. I can't remember all these numbers without a cheat sheet. Premium hay is what I researched. And you can base other prices off of what premium hay the market is bearing in premium hay. Okay, to research hay prices, and I've said this before, the very best thing you can do, even if you're a hay farmer and you sell hay or you buy hay, you're a hay buyer, the very best thing you can do is look to your local markets. If you own horses and your horses are in your pastures grazing hay out of your grasses out of your pastures, your horses are already accustomed to the pollens, the allergens, the minerals, things of that nature in your pastures. In my opinion, and the best thing you can do is feed local hay. Your livestock is already used to the local pollens, local minerals that's coming up in those grasses. You're not introducing, wow, this wind's horrible. You're not introducing pollens and things of that nature to your animals that they're not already accustomed to. Buy your hay local if you can at all. Okay. All right. I want to buy my hay local. How do I go about that? How do I find local hay, and how do I know what the local price of hay is? Even if you are a lot like me and you despise social media, the best thing you can do as a hay buyer and a hay farmer is to make you a Facebook account so you can access Facebook Marketplace. Facebook Marketplace is the very best tool you can use to research hay prices, whether you're the grower or the buyer. That'll show what your local market is bearing in prices. Now, when you use Facebook Marketplace, just beware. Don't take every ad you see as the gospel. There are people that will list hay for sale at Facebook Marketplace, and you look at it and the price is absolutely ridiculously high. Then you see some that is ridiculously low. Ridiculous high, I don't think I need to explain that. That's someone that's they're wanting to retire on one cut of hay for some reason. I don't understand that. But then you see ridiculously low price. Not every case, but generally that's very low quality hay. Someone's just took their hay mower and went out into a field that has not been maintained, has not had any care taken with it, and they're just cutting goldenrod and horse nettle, and anything that's in that field's going to get cut and baled. You get what you pay for with hay, I have found. Okay, another red flag, when you see premium hay, and this is local, you see someone list horse quality, weed free, no spray, that should be a huge red flag. If you live on the eastern seaboard, the southeast, the south, and you see someone that's advertising weed-free hay and they have not used any herbicides, red flag galore. And I'm speaking from my area. Your mileage may vary, I guess. It could. I'm not saying there's such a thing as weed-free hay, but in my area, there is not such a thing as weed-free hay. Even with spraying and using herbicides, you can get pretty darn close to weed-free hay, as we have. Our hay is pretty darn close to weed-free, and we've worked at it for years. I'm not saying our hay's weed-free. I'm saying it's about as close as you can get and not have any weeds. But if you get out and walk our hay fields before I cut, you might see a weed or two here, there, yonder. So just use common sense when you're buying hay. If you're a hay buyer, and know what you're buying, and red flags, just skip it and go on. Premium hay. This was at the end of 2024, just yesterday and the day before. And I've got some notes here. In my area on Facebook Marketplace, premium hay ran horse quality in a 4x4 round bale, averaged $50. I found it everywhere from $30 to $55. Most of them was right around $50 to $55 per bale. 4x5, I found it everywhere from $75 per bale down to $50. So you can average that out. Small squares, I found hay that was listed as horse quality everywhere from $9 a bale to the highest I found was $12 a bale. The average was $10. And I did find one ad that listed horse quality at $7 a bale. However, those were pretty light bales. They said they averaged 35 pounds per bale. Organic, mixed grass, small squares, that said it had no spray on it and hardly no weeds. I will give them credit, they did not say weed free, they just said hardly any weeds, $12 a bale. Okay, most of these ads said that they had a minimum purchase amount of 5 rounds or 20 squares. So consider that. That's one practice I never put into place on our farm. If this was a potentially new customer, I would give them a bale of hay. We had no minimum. Now, if they wanted to be a regular customer and they only regularly wanted every year 20 bales at each cut, I doubt I could do that. And that's something that you need to discuss with your hay customers. When I've got customers that says I'll take every bale you can make at each cutting and buy it every bit, that's just the way it is. USDA, if you're unfamiliar with what is listed as quality hay, what is listed as premium quality hay, and what is listed as mediocre or on down the line poor hay, go to the USDA website and look at their hay quality designations guidelines. That's what I use. That's what I judge hay by. They have a chart and a full list of what they say is premium and right on down the line to poor. In our area, and if you look at Marketplace or something like that, most local hay markets will be based on a per bale price. Now, there's some regions of the country I've been made aware of that still sell on a per ton basis. And if you go to these larger hay markets, like a state-run hay market, a Missouri or Arkansas or Michigan hay market run by the state where they auction and sell hay, that's usually sold per ton. When you start dealing with small individual customers, horse owners, usually it's sold, at least in my area, per bale. Even for cattle and goats and everything in my area is usually sold per bale. So your mileage may vary in all these prices. Let's go from regional right in this area from Facebook Marketplace. Let's go to the North Carolina Department of Agriculture, the state website for hay commodities, hay prices on their website. I found premium, what was listed as premium quality hay in small squares. The highest price I saw was $13 per bale. The lowest I saw was $7. That's for small squares. 4x4 round bales, the cheapest I saw was $45, the highest $55. So that stayed pretty close. And 4x5 round bales, the big huge round bales, those ran an average of $50. I found some varying each way. In South Carolina, on the South Carolina Department of Agriculture website, I found small squares, premium quality. All this is premium quality. The highest $10, the lowest $8. That was pretty consistent. And I didn't find any. I'm going to hold my camera. The wind's about to blow it over. I did not find any 4x4 round bales as far as the South Carolina Department of Agriculture website listed. When you went to large rounds, the only thing they had listed was 4x5, and $70 was pretty much the common price, the common average. I found the highest was $80, the lowest was $60. $70 was a pretty normal price for a 4x5 round bale of premium quality horse hay. According to Hay and Forage Grower magazine, this article was dated 12/24/24, which was just 6 days ago, 7 days. They quoted that overall hay market started in 2024 really good, went to difficult, and then later in the year went to what they labeled as different, based on world economies and the climate of exports and imports, etc., etc. Hurricane Helene in this area tossed our hay market into a totally wild state at the end of the year. It was basically non-existent. like I said, we cut our hay. The last cutting we done, we donated it. And I'd do that again 100-fold. And horse owners are a particular lot when it comes to horse hay, and I don't blame them. I am not saying they're out of line. When you raise and train and put all the man hours that's involved in training a good saddle horse, and all the hours of spent with that horse training, and farrier costs and feed cost and grain cost, hay cost, I understand. I would be particular about my hay too. Matter of fact, when my daughter had quarter horses on this farm, we were quite particular about our hay, buying hay. And I understand that. But if you're that horse owner, you need to understand why some hay is $4 a bale and another bale's $10 a bale. You're not going to be able to buy that premium high quality hay at this $4 from this hay farmer selling hay for $4 a bale. Don't go to the $10 guy and look at his hay and go, dang, that is really good hay. I'll give you $5 a bale for it. That's an insult. A responsible horse owner should know that. They should understand the cost you have and the time and the labor that you have in that $10 bale of hay. And if they're still not willing, then just find you another customer if you're the hay farmer. I understand. I totally understand that horse owners are very particular about their hay. If I was still a horse owner, I would be too. I'd be right there beside of you. In the same token, I'm not going to be unreasonable about buying my hay. If I want to feed my horses premium quality hay, then I'm going to need to pay the price for that premium quality. Now, I'm not saying overpriced. I'm saying a fair price for that premium quality hay. I shouldn't expect premium quality hay for junk hay prices. It's not going to happen. So how did the 2024 hay season end as far as hay market prices? I gave you those numbers. I'm curious to know what your area of the country, how the 2024 season ended as far as hay prices. If you were buying or selling hay, how did it end up? And what was your quality of hay, and who was your target audience? That makes a big difference. If my target audience is a herd of cattle, or a herd of sheep or goats, whatever, that will readily eat those lower quality hay bales, then I can tailor my hay to that. If my target audience is horse owners or dairy goat farm owners, and trust me, those dairy goat farm owners are about as particular with their hay as is the horse owners. And I don't blame them. Our dairy goat herd we had here, we fed them high quality hay, and that's all. Junk hay didn't end up here. And I think a lot of hay farmers are failing to realize that when they say goat hay. Yeah, goat hay to a herd of meat goats or Kikos or boars or something like Spanish goats, something like that may be okay and be just fine. I probably wouldn't have a problem with that. But when it comes to dairy goats, if you have a dairy goat farm, and dairy milk is gaining popularity, if you have a dairy goat farm, expect them to want premium hay. If they don't, I don't know that I'd want to buy their milk. One of the best things you can do, if you're interested in selling premium hay, and that's your goal, go talk to some horse owners. Before you start marketing and seeding and all that, just go talk to some horse owners. Find a horse owner that you trust, that you know is a good person, it's not going to feed you a line of BS. Go talk to them and say, what do you want in a bale of hay for your horses? At what price point as a horse owner do you reasonably expect to pay for a bale of hay? Whatever hay you sell, whether it's in small squares, small rounds like we do, or 4x4, 5x5, pose that question to them. Say, what would you reasonably expect to pay for that bale of hay? Find a couple different horse owners, people that you trust, that are, you know, are good folks, and they're not going to shoot you a line of bull, and just pick their brain. It will really benefit you if you decide to start selling premium quality hay. Everything's looking really good in our fields. We done soil samples back here a month or so ago, and we're going to be liming again. And lime is not a quick fix. We're going to be doing liming probably within the month, preparing for May. And it's the last day of 2024. Tomorrow is January, and we'll be liming probably by the end of the month, or the 1st of February, somewhere right in that area. End of year 2024 hay market. Let me know in the comments what your area is showing as a general rule for hay prices, for premium quality hay. And if you want to include, you know, mediocre or poor quality, that's fine. And you don't have to tell me the town you live in or anything like that. We don't want to put out too much personal information from you. Just your area. If you live in southwest Pennsylvania or northeast Ohio, or, you know, whatever the case may be. We're in western North Carolina, and I've presented the average year-end hay prices, and let me know what it is in your area. I really appreciate you guys. Y'all are fantastic, and we're really looking forward to 2025 hay season. It's already begun for us. We started it with soil samples about a month ago. 2025 hay season is underway. As far as the actual harvesting hay, we're quite a long ways away yet still from that happening, but we're starting now. Thanks for being with us. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much to all our subscribers. Y'all are just great people, and I really appreciate all the nice comments y'all leave. I can't thank you enough. I pray God blesses you and your family, and I hope y'all have a fantastic day. As much deer droppings as they are in this field, it's amazing there's any grass even left in it. They've been out here grazing.